sometimes I try and explain to people the trouble. You know, I mean, it's easy now that hip hop is in its about to be in its 50th year. For us to also take for granted its development and how far it's come. But I try to explain to people that a lot of those pioneers, Flash got so much kickback or pushback, if you will. Because the general idea was that you were going to destroy the needle or destroy the belt drive or the turntable, like
putting your fingers on the grooves.
Yeah, I definitely
Those are
got
big
put on
no-nos.
punishment. Yeah, I got punishment trying to. Once I heard, like my first introduction to scratching, of course, was Grandmaster Flash on the Wheels of Steel,
Right.
and trying to practice on my dad's, while he's not looking and see what happens and you get in trouble.
Right.
But yeah, like how do you discover what that is in the Bronx, and were you like privy to any of those like block parties or anything?
Oh yeah, they were like right outside.
Explain it. Take us there.
Growing up in Forest Projects, me, Fat Joe, Lord Finesse, we would all see DJs like
Y'all were in the same building, village,
same complex.
Okay.
But we would see guys like Grand Wizard Theodore, mainly Theodore, sometimes Flash. At that point, they were already making records, but we were able to just go downstairs and just see these jams going on in the parks. So
what was it like seeing? Because I'm assuming that you're too young for Harlem World, or
Correct.
Right. So I'm assuming that you're a 11 or a 12-year-old.
Correct.
Seeing this, so how does the trickle effect happen to you? Like, were tapes a thing instantly, or how do you get the information?
Just watching it firsthand. You seen people out there, with boxes, recording or whatever, but I saw it firsthand. When Flash made Grandmaster Flash on the Wheels of Steel, I had already seen him do some of that, outside in the parks, cutting up good times, shit like that. But just being close in proximity to it is what drew me. And in fact, Quest, when I was a little kid, whenever I saw the DJ reach for the Damn Right I'm Somebody album cover by the JBs, I would lose my mind because I knew he was going to play Blow Your Head. And that even now as an adult, that always sticks out to me. A lot of times people ask me, what's the first song to draw you into hip hop?
Right.
I mentioned Blow Your Head. It's not a rap record.
I know.
It's just a break beat that was real popular, and as little kids, we would lose our fucking mind when that shit came on.
Wow. So, all right. So Chuck D once explained to me the effect of that, because I asked, why was that the first record that introduced the world to Public Enemy? And he explained to me that, because, I grew up with a father and older uncles and older cousins.
Right.
And so they came more or less from I'm not saying like I inherited the critical thinking, but the way that, I'm sure a classic album comes out, we all get together and discuss that shit critically. That's how they were. Because my dad was a musician and all that stuff. So in my household, James Brown was kind of over.
Correct.
By 73.
Okay, yeah.
Like I distinctly remember the very first album my dad panned. Like, this is trash. He didn't like the Payback. I don't think he liked the idea of paying $15.90. So typically, I guess back in 73, 74, an album would run $3.99. A single album's like $3.99, maybe $4.99.
Right.
So when you're paying $11, $12.99 for a double album, the first thing, and I'm 3 years old, but my dad's like, wait a minute. There's only 8 songs on this record. It's a double record, and each song's like a meandering. I never knew what meandering was, but like by the time you get to the side 3, time is running out fast, whatever, like 12 minutes.
Yeah.
He just took it off, and he's like, I don't like this.
Right.
And so in my mind, James Brown was over in 74, but Chuck D tells me, he's like, James Brown commercially might have had his last heyday of string, after Papa Don't Take No Mess, but he's like, in the hood, we never stopped playing Goodfoot and Get On. If anything, like, we brought those singles back, but it was just hood stuff. But for some reason, me myself, I never liked blow your head because in my mind, I imagined James Brown's like, okay, so Stevie Wonder got a Moog and made miracles of it. But
That's funny.
with him, it was almost like I could see like the bubble wrap on the floor,
Mm-hmm.
and him just. And this is the thing. Even James Brown's musicians himself will say like he was the worst soloist of all time.
Correct. Yeah,
But one of those guys where even if he's wrong, he's right. So for him to do like all this like crazy soloing and whatnot,
Right.
I just never understood why y'all gravitated to that record.
Right.
It's just to have an instrumental that was fast to let b-boys go off or.
Yeah, that's all it was. You know, I'm a little kid, so I'm not really thinking about the musicality of it.
Right.
But just the effect that record had when it was played at parties, like, you know, people would lose their fucking minds, you know, just that little one part. To touch on what you're saying, I did read where Fred Wesley said that James went in there behind their backs and he put that Moog sound on.
Overdub, yeah.
Right. He said it wasn't on there at first.
Yeah.
But the irony is that that's what drove it. By the time these young black and brown kids were listening to it, you know, in 78 and 79 at these parties.
Yeah, I was going to say we're now an iHeart affiliate, and so we're like limited on the times that we could play songs. But just for that you people know what we're talking about, this song. Oh, I'm sorry. That's my reverb effect.
Full reverb.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. This is Blow Your Head.
Oh, thank y'all. So y'all was talking about that. Yeah, we know that. Public Enemy number. Okay, thank
Right,
you. We
exactly.
all like, okay, God, we here now. We here.
Yeah. So, you know, but this is also what I want to know. Do you have any memories? Because this is kind of the one thing that hip hop pioneers really don't talk about. But I mean, I can only put two and two together that if it weren't for the blackout of '77, we might not have had hip hop culture. Because I'm just assuming that because of the looting esque of it.
yeah.
Everybody's still in turn.
I'm a little kid during the blackout, but
No, I'm not saying were
but
you
wait,
there.
but I have heard stories about a lot of equipment came
Right.
into possession during the blackout. So, you know, it definitely pushed it along a little bit.
Right,
But
but-
I mean, it was there before that.
But what I want to know is how, because I'm also aware that as the years and decades go by,
Right.
maybe revisionist history sets in and stories get exaggerated. But how officially loud were these speakers at these block parties? Were they like concert level size, or were you guys
Loud
just
enough-
satisfied with?
Loud enough where you can hear them 3 blocks away.
How do you get power, electricity in a park?
Street lights.
Street lights, I
Lampposts.
believe.
Okay.
Lampposts.
So
yeah.
someone had to risk their life, climb up a lamppost, or even
No,
heard
No,
like
a
in
lot
some
of them.
buildings.
A lot of them knew about equipment, so they would break into a lamppost, get the power lines, and do some shit. In the next thing,
Now I wish we had Kwame's dad here to explain.
Right.
Kwame,
Yeah.
Kwame's dad used to tell like for the longest, Kwame's father would steal the neighbor's gas. Like he knew how to run a line inside of their basement or whatever. And
That's
just,
crazy.
Yeah,
Resourceful people.
exactly.
Oh, if not.